Hello, hello, hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And today I want to talk a little bit about our ego. I know we have heard a lot of things of the ego, and some are negative. I would say the majority of it, but what the ego is. The ego is the part of our consciousness. This is my own personal experience that was created from the soul development since we were inside of the womb and we were child and adolescent and then until the age that we have now. It's a mix of aspects that we got from our ancestors, our family unit, our society, what happened to us, what we observe in others, and it's a little bit of a blending of many things. The ego is not our enemy. It is what makes us us. If we don't have our ego, we'll be like a sociopathic or not empathic person because we wouldn't have shame, blame, anger, love, anything that we wouldn't feel. We wouldn't have that humanism that makes us. Now, our ego could be our best friend and it could be our worst enemy. And how do we distinguish? It's probably one of the questions that you guys have been doing to me. You distinguish because of how it sounds. If you're doing something and then you judge it as a mistake because of your background and you said something like, oh, I'm so stupid, then that is an ego that it is not in balance. If our ego says things that I'm not worth it, I'm struggling with this is so hard, I can't believe this is happening to me, I'm having bad luck, this is hard, I wouldn't want to be here, I just want to run away, I feel horrible, I hate life, this is like hell, and etc, etc, etc. It is because our ego is in survival mode. It is because that part of our personality, it got so distorted that it's only being an instrument to police the universe, to identify all what can go wrong, all the things that could happen to us, and at the same time, more and more of that may come because it's in a negative polarity. And a negative polarity, it will attract more than that. In a positive polarity, when it's honest and truthfully positive, not when we fake it. Because with energy you cannot fake. You can appear as if you fake, it's all good. But being in denial, being in avoidance, neglecting, resistance of certain things will actually ensure and magnetize more negativity and more heaviness and things to come. So how do you shift it? And this is like when in Course of Miracles, I don't know if you have read that, they call it a miracle. A miracle, it isn't that Archangel Gabriel is going to come and say, hey, beautiful lady, you are going to have a baby. It's not like that. It is a shift in perception. And I'm going to be a little vulnerable here, and then I'm going to open myself to open a little bit of information that can come through. You guys know my story. I had sexual harassment when I was 13 by my stepfather. It was decided in my family that I should leave because really the sexual harassment was more verbal and emotional. It never went into the physical part. I mean, it was like touching my cheeks or grabbing me from my back, things like that, but my stepfather never touched my boobs or any intimate parts. So it was agreed in my family that because I wasn't raped or violated, nothing happened. And because we're a lot of brothers and sisters and my stepfather will provide needs for all, then I went to live with grandma. And that happened. I felt in my personality something broke within. Even though nothing happened, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. It felt like injustice. It felt like no one was on my side. Like I felt like it was a bad thing, and the majority of the adults around neglected as if it was nothing. It was nothing because he violated you, right? But for my emotions, he did. So when I lived with grandma, I hang on to me guilt and shame, and I thought somehow I'll make it provoke it for something. Because in my 13-year-old back in the 90s, I was very innocent, and that innocence, it was broke. So after that, I developed a personality that I was looking for everyone that could do some wrong to me, and then I developed a personality of a victim in such a way that every partner I had, it was abusing because I was looking for punishment unconsciously. And then I joined, when I woke up and tried to be responsible of myself and I separated from my ex, I joined a lot of groups of women in domestic violence. And it was like, my voice, I want you to stand out so it wouldn't happen neither to me, neither for everyone. But one day, I kind of got tired about crying and complaining and blaming the world for what happened to me. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be defined because I was abused, because things happened to me. I want to be defined for something else. And I quit all of the groups. I remember that one of my mentors, because in such those groups are like AAA, you will always have a mentor. Why are you leaving, Gretel? You have had a good improvement in yourself. And I said, because I don't think I need it anymore. I think I just want to go into another direction. And he could understand why my personality shift into the position that I didn't feel broken anymore. I don't know if that makes sense. I cannot say the day that I heal that I don't feel that I was a victim, but I can recall into many days in my life that I react not as a victim, but as a warrior, a person that is firm and feels safe and secure and tries with life. And another time that I just shift my personality, it was because, I separated with my ex. We were in fighting a lot. I hated him. He wanted to go back. I was afraid of him. So many of the times when we're together, we say that if you leave me, you're not going to see the kids ever, ever, ever. And I always believed that. When I wasn't with him and he wanted to see the kids, I would be paralyzed thinking I will never see them again. So I was with him in every parenting visit. But then I got over it. It was very draining for both. And then one day I remember that I did a meditation with angels, and I remember that I asked, okay, what should I do? Because my ex asked if the kids, they're not kids anymore, but they were kids back then, could go and have vacation with him for a few months. And I was like, he's gonna take them again. Because that was what my ego in the negative polarity and the victim personality says. And then I said, okay, let me just think about it, right? So I did my meditation, I did my channeling, and I went deep, 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 deep in a state that I fell asleep. When I fell asleep, I remember that I saw a voice that said, that I knew it was Archangel Michael, right? So he says, what do you want to do? And I said, I just want peace. And then I don't remember anything else. But when I wake up, I woke up with a feeling of, I don't want to be a victim endlessly for my ex or my stepfather, or what my mom didn't did for me, or my brothers and sisters, or my family, or whatever. And I remember that I sent a message and said, you can have the kids. And I remember that I needed to shift into safetyness when I wasn't feeling safe. But I kind of fake it in a way that it became a reality for me. So he was happy about it. He was surprised because he always expected for me that I was going to think that he was a broken person. But when I give to him the leap of faith that he really was going to bring the kids back and that we change, he changed with me. And I think he felt like he needed to honor my trust for the first time in his life and in my life too. And it was hard giving them the kids, because my family was saying, Gretel, how can you do that? He manipulated you, you're so stupid. Oh my God, how you can do that? And having the judgment of my family, judging that I was making things wrong, with my intuition says all the contrary. And I remember that it was hard to say, no, I'm not a victim anymore. It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. But within, I was weak and crashing, right? So the kids were going to spend 2 months. They left. I was crying every night, and that was, I think, 5 years ago. 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I don't remember. So 2 weeks before, he messaged and said, Gretel, I have a lot of work. I can't have the kids anymore. I'm taking the kids back. And I was like, I breathed, and I realized when we feel insecure and afraid and safe, at least from my experience, it isn't real. It's a part of you that broke because of something that happened to you. A trauma situation that it was hard, that it was horrible, that changed your life. Maybe it wasn't really in my life, maybe it happened to my family, maybe it happened to someone that you love, but trusting in other, it isn't because they deserve it, or forgiving other, it isn't because they deserve it, because they may be assholes. It is because you shift, because you trust in you trust in what you can do, and then you may be feeling afraid, but fear no longer paralyzes you. You keep going and doing your best. I hope that makes sense. And I want to say this because the question wasn't related to this. It was related to actually channeling, like, how do I know I'm going to be safe? How do I know that it's not entities that are going to come? What if what shows up, it looks like a demon? It's the same thing that we do with humans, because we trust us. Because you trust you know that everyone is going to come into the same trust and confidence and security you give to yourself and love. And that happened with the spiritual world. If you ask your higher self to be in charge, if you call whom you want to and think that's going to make you safe, then you will be safe. But at the same time, there is times that we just go through that self-practice, so you give proof to your ego and your personality that you are alright, that you change. And something that helps for me to align with all that I am, it is remembering hard things that happened to me before and that they pass, and then I have beautiful moments for me to treasure for the rest of my life. All the thing that helps me, if I need to forgive someone for something that I felt they wronged to me, I think, okay, if this would be my last day on earth, what would I do? And that shift the whole perception, because sometimes a lot of the things don't matter anymore. Sometimes spiritual people kind of have the tendency to want to be a police of the universe and then scan all the possible threats or malevolent agendas that could happen. Trust your intuition, trust yourself, and know that if you are into a channel state and you feel the love of your guides, you may even hear their voices to your own thinking. You may allow them to use your hands if you're doing healing, maybe to write a message, maybe because you blog or you are helping someone that you love, or maybe a client that you do. Trust that that energy, it just feels right. But if you ever feel anything that it is disturbing, it could be for many reasons. It could be that maybe you are not grounded correctly, maybe you have a weak spot sometimes for matching that. Maybe that disruption is something that is in the field, that before entering the channel you have cleared that out. Maybe just part of your practice to know how to protect yourself, how to cleanse yourself, how to be in charge of your own destiny. But trust that you guys are always there, you are always protected. And fear is just an illusion. And because it's an illusion, you can change the narrative into where you feel right and you feel that you are safe. So let's do a little bit of practice. Okay. Bring your higher self in and just breathe light in and call whoever you will like in your trust that can assist you. I'm seeing and I'm letting herself to speak through me. Greetings. When you channel, you'll be aware that who you will be channeling, why you are channeling that entity, and what is the reason why that experience is being shown to you. It will help you to grow your ability as a psychic, as a soul in evolution, but meanwhile enjoy the process. In whatever level of your growth you channel, it could be through your own wisdom, it could be doing trans-channeling like the way the channel is doing right now. The information that will come through spirit, that it could be language of the light, or just a message. It will come through what you have. And that it is in the first level of channeling. That message will come through your own ego, through your own wisdom, through what you have observed and learned. And this is the first stage of channeling. This will be done through your own wisdom, through your intuition, through your own coaching to someone or coaching yourself. As long as you always ask for the highest and best, easiest and simple way to unfold, this is the first suggestion that we are given to all of you today. We suggest that you sit comfortable, that you invite your higher self to step into your field. Your mentors, your ascended masters or angels, your galactics, and in a way, yourself, the aspect of yourself that it is, the reflection of the divine of spirit and all that you are and all that you have been. This is what you define as your higher self. The version of you that is God, the version of you that is connected to all that it is, equally to you. So try to go within. Let us take few deep breaths. Bate ekitate ashka. And allow yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper. It will be better, perhaps, if you are in silence. In another of you, maybe you could put some music to tune into the feel of wine. For others, maybe a scent, perhaps a position, but know that you are protected all the time. Indeed, when you begin to channel, it's going to be a type of initiation where you can allow yourself to attune, to align your channel. Try to go within, deeper, deeper, and deeper. Bitiki asaka kovata ti akite ashkate asakova ti shnakikiraki ashka. Ask your higher self to become more present and more present and more present. And ask your ego and your mind to support you, to upgrade, to merge with your emotional intelligence in your heart, with your soul and spirit. And begin to shift into the capacity that each of you have to channel spirit in whatever way that feels right, in whatever way that you could do. It could be through your own healing practitioner. If you know Reiki, if you do yoga, you will be channeling. If you do mantras, cards, if you do light language, you will be channeling. If you do blind or inspirational coaching, if you do automatic writing, you will be channeling. In every step of channeling, you will need to develop and grow your compassion, your love, your peace. And in this way, without insisting and controlling and resisting the information in the way as it comes through, you will allow yourself to unfold it as it's meant to be. And you will come to your senses, you will come to your own voice, you will come a certain degree of willingness to unlearn what you think it should be, and to reprogram yourself into a new personality, the personality of a keeper of the light, of a guardian of enlightenment, as a light worker, as a master that each day has a beginner's mind that can allow itself to learn new experiences. There are different ways for you to acquire your wisdom. You can come through an activity that you do, perhaps an aha moment while you listen to a music or song, perhaps by reading a book, perhaps by speaking to a friend of you. Maybe you will be the one that receives an insight. Maybe you will be the one that provides the wisdom for someone else. Know that channeling is one of the highest techniques, because you will allow yourself to match the perfect alchemy between the frequency of vibration of love, to match a perfect wavelength of love. Your ego will need to be in alignment with your capacity to be willing and open to shift into the path of mastery. In this aspect of your soul, the one that you have right now, you will have mission and purposes. Purposes will be the ones that you are here to learn, the ones that you have courage and willing to be all that you can be. And that will include being in community with spirit, being in intimate connection with your spirit, developing a strong connection with your guides, with your higher self, in whatever way that feels good for you. Your mission, it is what feels right and easy. And that mission, that is your magic that comes from your authenticity and the original part of you, will normally be hidden in your shadow. It could be an aspect that you reject, that is hard for you to grasp, but when it transforms and transcends, it becomes the enchanted aspect of you that allows light in through your own senses. Your shadow will evolve and will develop. And the more that you do it, the better you will get. You will need to practice this through your intuition, to be willing to trust that the information that comes through is coming from spirit in whatever way, and to discern the words, the movement, the expression from spirit as it comes through you. Spirit will have different ways to come to you, and sometimes it will appear as it comes in wrong ways. Creation don't make mistakes. Maybe this is an invitation for you to trust, to be awake, to rediscover your truth, your beauty, your authenticity, your integrity, to develop the principles and the persona of what a master will embrace. And a master will embrace its own heart and flow and intimate connection within. It's important that you harvest a way for you to communicate with spirit, that you decide a spot for you to connect within you, that you have the courage to listen to yourself, that you observe your thinking, and that you notice when the part that is asking to you is your ego, your story, and when it is indeed from the multidimensional and ascended aspects of you that have a more broader perspective, a widened love, in a higher sense of wisdom. What happened when you channel? When you channel, you have to be aware whether you are aware or not that you have a shift. The more present you are in between what happens and what you do when you channel, what you become because of what you did, the better you will get. The more you practice, the more easiest it will be the process that you will design and unfold. If you are channeling words, the best way for you to do it is to open your channel with a short prayer or invocation to whom you trust the most, and that you set your intention. When you gain more practice, then you can be just open for whatever needs to come through. But would you suggest that at the beginning you create a sacred space, an intimate way for you to connect, that you begin with a prayer or an intention when your energy it is at the highest. When you are not channeling, it is easy to look at your ego and at the story because you will be focusing in your 3D reality. When you channel, you shift from 4 reality into any other reality that you are able to match frequency. Know that when you channel, whatever you channel will come through your own oversoul and through the own wisdom of this soul that you have right now or any other soul. Choose to allow yourself to step into the infinite possibilities of what you could be, of what you can become, because you are always one with divine, and you in reality have never been separated. The separation part is just an illusion. And when you allow yourself to be open to seek beyond the layers of illusion, the experience of channeling, it is an only very comfortable and joyful and wonderful experience, but infinite outcomes for the highest and best will be created for you, but also for everyone else. It will require for you to choose, to feel, to sense, and to know how spirit comes through you. It will require for you to be willing to go beyond what you could do and to step into the unlimited aspect of you and come back home through your own within. It will require that you allow yourself to be humble and to align with a more simple and easy way for spirit to come through. The need to be complicated in the spirituality is part of the perception what humanity has developed to think and believe is the way to connect to spirit, but in reality, the simpler your process is, the easier it is for spirit to be. When you observe an animal, like a cat, you will see that they have periods where they are so connected. No matter what happens around, they completely ignore it because they are immersed in its own presence and experience. If you could perceive and know what's happened to a flower, perhaps a sunflower that it's moving along the sun, that presence and that connection with the air, with the plant, with the sun itself, and all of the nutrients and the waters that runs through the experience will be the most uplifting channeling that an entity could have. There are many different ways to channel. In the first level, where you will access the consciousness of your ego. You can surround yourself with love and trust, be willing and open, and make the choice to go deeper and access the second level of your channel, when you will access deep wisdom from your oversoul. And in the next level of channeling, you'll go deeper and deeper and deeper and access the wisdom of the source. And when you do that, wonderful and magical things could happen. We would like for each of you to cut any cords and release any patterns, blocks, beliefs that stop you from getting intimate with divine and the spirit in whatever way that feels good for you. And as you do that, breathe in and out. Bring the color of love. Breathe that frequency of love, tuning in, dial in, and invoke that you make the choice, that you decree that I am clear channel for unconditional love and pure source consciousness. I am conduit for unconditional love for the highest and best. And so this is, and so this is, and so this is. This transmission is complete. Thank you. It was good. It was short, but it was good. I hope you guys enjoy it. For me, I use senses to channel. When I channel, I like to put them all around, and when I put it especially in my nose, it reminds me to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Another thing that I do is, this is sort of like a tip, I always have a candle when I channel, and This is a simple way for you to be grounded. This plant, it's me. When I purchase it, I ask the plant to make me the honor, so my energy will be connected to her roots. And I add this selenite. You don't have to add any crystal on it, just any plant that you already have, or you could purchase one and then just add something that plant, I honor your presence with me, and I would like for you to give me the permission so the roots of my aura are connected to your own roots and with the plant kingdom, so I can align with the harmonic resonance of Gaia and all that it is. And with that, I just noticed a shift. I have like 11 of these around my house, and every time I purchase another plant, I do the same thing. You can do the same that with crystals. It is good when you channel, when you connect to spirit, that you have a design place for spirit to know that's the temple where you go and sit. You can have an altar, you can do a crystal grid, you can just have a little table or a chair like the one I have. That is your place, your dating spot for you to fall in love with yourself and with all that you are, because your guides, your higher self, they are in a way aspects of you. So I hope you find this video helpful and enjoyable, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye-bye.